boy when I walk, boy. I saw it when I walked, boy.
Hello everyone, and welcome to another day of NGS action, as I'm a little bit off center, but today we are going to be going over to Div C once again, and it's going to be CM Daybreak versus Macro Machines. Now, I haven't actually checked if this page works. I probably should have done that before we started, but it's okay. Do the standings work? And it looks like they kind of work, so once again, just going to be, for the most part, being fine. But both these two teams have already played their week 1 matches. These are the week 2 matches now. Macro Machines, they went 1-2. CM Daybreak went 2-1. So some very close games this series. CM Daybreak went 2-1 versus Protectors, I believe. So yeah, both of these two teams, they haven't gone fully undefeated, but they've also haven't been fully defeated either. So gonna be a lot of fun to see how these two teams are gonna be able to play coming out today. Now, the map picker ban has already come through as well. Coin toss was won by CM Daybreak, and they decided to go for first pick. The Macro Machines, they banned away Alterac Pass and Garden of Terror. CM Daybreak, they banned out Infernal Shrines, and unfortunately, once again, Brax's holdout. And map number 1 is going to be Battlefield of Eternity. One of my favorite maps. It's either that or Brax's holdout. Those are the two maps I'm always looking forward to the most, and it's pretty easy to explain why, because these are the maps where teams love to fight, and that's what I'm here for. I don't really care. Like, sure, you can have some beautiful macro plays, you can have some big outplays through draft, you can get the Dragonshire 1-3-1 setup. That's all fine and dandy. I want to see just butting heads, just non-stop attacking damage. Everyone's going haywire. I want to see a 40 kill game in 20 minutes. That's what we're here for. And if it's going to happen anywhere, it is going to happen on this map, Battlefield of Eternity. Now, like I said, this is already week 2 for both of these two teams. This is going to be a little bit of how do I put this? A little bit of a momentum gainer for both of these rosters. Because like I said, CM Daybreak, they did win 2-1, so they have won their first week match, but they didn't get the full domination, just those 3 points. And Macro Machines, they went 1-2, so they got their first map win of the season, and they're going to be looking for their first series win of the season. And if you're able to get those points starting off early, you can kind of relax a little bit more later towards the end of the season. Once you know that you're going to be able to grab that, once you know you're going to be able to grab that playoff spot, that's really what this all becomes about. But all the players are in the lobby now. We should be getting started soon. Ready check has already started, and with that we should be heading in pretty much immediately now. Battlefield of Eternity, and incidentally, for those of you that are not aware, Macro Machines is Hoku's team, so, and it's Battlefield of Eternity, so if there is a map where we're gonna see the Artanis, it basically has to be this one. So I am a huge fan of that hero as well, so hopefully it is going to be coming out this game. I'd be a little bit surprised if it does, even so, because I know Hoku likes seeing Artanis in games. I also know Hoku doesn't always like playing Artanis in those games, just because it's a little bit hard to make work. But either way, it is time. We are in map number 1, Battlefield of Eternity, and the draft is just about to get started. As completely forgot to get chat set up on my phone, because once again, I'm not used to having to be one of them phone people. But there we go. We got chat open, and we are ready to get started here between CM Daybreak and Macro Machines. Now, for Battlefield of Eternity, most of the bans I've been seeing so far have been primarily towards the off lane. I don't think that's going to be the case for Battlefield of Eternity. It is just a single lane. That's kind of where I've mostly been seeing the bans coming in through the Leoric. But oh, the White Mane. That is what ban we have been seeing a little bit, actually. And White Mane is quite strong as a healer right now. Definitely going to be strong on this more fight-oriented map as well. The amount of burst heal White Mane can pump out with the Scarlet Aegis and then just those police stacks, it costs a lot of mana, but you can essentially heal someone's full HP bar like 3 or 4 times in about 5 to 10 seconds. So a very, very dangerous healer coming through. And it's going to be Sylvanas banned 2nd on the side of Macro Machines. Now, Sylvanas is another one of those pretty solid bans, very strong in teamfights. Not the main racing hero that we typically see for this map, but is really good at helping those pushes. Again, the Black Arrows are always going to be strong. Wailing Arrow or the Mind Control, either of those heroics are incredibly powerful during teamfights. And yeah, not really surprising to see Sylvanas being the ban choice here, as Varian gonna get banned away on the side of CM Daybreak. Now, Varian's a very interesting one. So it looks like they are a little bit concerned about that burst composition coming out. And frankly, it typically can be for good reason. If you get the Varian, you get the taunt on the right target, you can just fully take over the zone. You can just hold on to this, to the main central area, just hold on to these Immortals. But what's interesting to me is Li Ming went through, Vala went through. Not a single racing hero has actually been banned away this time around. But they're not going to go for that. They're going to go for the Joanna instead. Death Punisher. Going to be locking that in. Now, I'm wondering if either of these two teams do play it, as we are going to be... Okay, I shouldn't have spoken. Hoku just immediately going to be locking in that Artanis. And Waterlong going to be locking in the Jaina. And again, this is a very strong map for Artanis, because there's kind of 2 talents you can go. Typically, you are going to be seeing, I forgot what it's called. It's not Exterminator, but it's basically the same as Exterminator. 50% bonus damage with Twin Blades, or 250 even, towards neutrals. So Hoku on the Artanis can actually be very good at racing for these Immortals. But at the same time, Protectors of Ayer are definitely the more fun talent. And if you're able to get that talent locked in, once you pass, I believe it's 250 stacks, it technically does become better DPS overall, because you're going to have those triple blades. That extra bonus attack damage is going to be hitting on every auto attack, not just when you're casting that ability. So, going to be interesting to see which one it is, but again, I do suspect it is going to be that, I'm trying to remember what it's called, but the Exterminator equivalent. But we are going to be seeing Vala getting locked in for Venus and Anduin locked in for Rackham. So pretty standard picks there. Vala, obviously the queen of Battlefield of Eternity. Once that Hungering Arrow level 7 talent comes through, and then the level 20, getting those caltrops, getting that triple vault. The Hungering Arrow's going to one-shot these Immortals, so always going to be a massive threat. Now, I'm starting to fall behind a bit of the draft, so I'm going to go a little bit faster, but Greymane and Li Ming going to get banned away by both of these two sides, and I'm a Burb. Going to lock in Garrosh, and Seralath going to lock in the Tyrande. So they do have a pretty solid pick composition already built up. Garrosh can obviously get that Wrecking Ball into the Groundbreaker. Tyrande can follow that up with Lunar Flare, but more fighting getting locked in on the side of CM Daybreak. It's going to be the Sonya locked in for MVP and the Orphea for Aura. Now, Orphea is very, very strong in these fights. A huge skirmisher. Definitely a little bit more reliant on landing those skill shots. Because if you're not able to land that Shadow Waltz, you're not going to be able to go anywhere. And you're just going to get run down. And especially with Uther getting locked in for Torkin, it's going to be a double healer composition coming through. And that's going to be very strong for them. Because double heal is going to be a lot scary. Amateur opponent, I think that is the correct name. I don't know why that name was evading me, but either way, this should be a very, very close draft overall for this game. So it's just going to come down to execution. Who's going to be able to fight better, CM Daybreak or Macro Machines? Let's get right into it. And all right, here we are. Game number 1 between CM Daybreak and Macro Machines, and it is going to be that Battlefield of Eternity. And I gotta say, there is a lot of lockdown, and yes, it is amateur opponent. So that is going to be level 1 talent here. So that's going to give a lot of extra damage. Yeah, deals 250% total damage, 150% bonus damage plus the 100 original damage to those neutrals. Going to be really good for taking camps, and also going to be really good for racing. Now, obviously, overall, the DPS is actually going to be a little bit low. And with the team compositions both these two teams have, I actually wouldn't hate Protectors of Aiur this time around. Because it is the Sonya. MVP is just going to be in the middle of the lane, probably spinning. That's the best way for the Sonya to clear. So Hoku could get a couple stacks in that regard. But right now, we're sending all 5 members to the top side looking for this Artanis. And in the bot lane, I'm a Burb, and the rest of Macro Machines are going to be in the area, but they're not going to be able to scout anything out. Sentinel coming through. They know there's no one in the bot side, and Hoku playing very safe right now, and I think that's really smart, just making sure not to give any free plays starting in the top side. Now, because of Hoku's patience, they are going to be a little bit late to the bot side. They're already hitting onto the wall, so you're going to be able to zone them off of a little bit of that, so it's going to turn into those mini orbs, at least the front 3 minions. So a little bit less than normal as Venus getting shoved away with the Wrecking Ball. A lot of damage going back to I'm a Burb. Hand of Justice is going to go back to Death Punisher, but ultimately both sides are just going to be able to walk it out. Very slight XP lead, I think anyway, coming out for Macro Machines, but at the same time, MVP did zone Hoku away from a couple of those minions in the top side. So I think everything's said and done. Even if a couple of them were zoned from the major orbs, it's still gonna be pretty much even. But now we are gonna be seeing a little bit of trading in the bot side. They're gonna throw Death Punisher into the backline, but will be okay. Just gonna pop that Iron Skin. A little bit of trade of cooldowns. Iron Skin definitely going to be the longer one between the two, but it's not so long that it's not worth just kind of popping for fun in lane. There's no objectives to fight over anytime soon. But now Venus almost gets hit by the Lunar Flare. Definitely could have been scary. As Aura as well, just going to be trading back and forth with Torkin now. In terms of the talents, again, it is going to be Puncturing Arrow. Not very surprising to see Hungering Arrow as the talent choice this time around. It is way too good on this map. I have still seen Creed. Creed of the Hunter picked up a couple times just because of the fighting potential. If you're not trying to go for the race and you're just trying to out-team your opponent, it is definitely an option. But now, Out of Justice in the bot lane. Aura going to be hit by the Groundbreaker as well. Needs to try to get away, but just going to get absolutely one-shot. So First Blood going to be going over to Macro Machines. They're going to be able to get that for themselves. And their prize is going to be this bot lane siege camp as well. Without Aura in the area, they are going to be lacking a decent bit of damage. And in fact, with Venus up on the top side, it looks like the plan is to just have Venus solo out the siege camp, while MVP and Hoku are just going to be trading back and forth. Now Rackham going to walk up, grab the Bruiser camp for the team as well. The siege camp will be secured on the bottom side, but it is just going to get traded vertically here. Now, Saralith on the way to this bruiser camp. I assume that's where Waterlong's going to be going, as well as now Torkin. Actually taking a decent amount of damage, but into the fray. Going to be used by I'm a Bird. And Torkin's going to be absolutely fine. And now the Waterlong and Saralith, they're a little bit behind. They're not going to be able to take this camp down immediately, but they should have it down soon enough. As Torkin, again, taking a decent amount of poke damage. Same with I'm a Bird. But again, so far it's going to be okay. Just a little bit of extra poke damage. And Torkin's starting to get pretty low. And I think the minions are going to be able to finish this. And yeah, just kind of overextends a little bit. Rackham and Aura are going to be able to have more than enough damage to finish this off. Now, they will be able to take down the Bruiser camp at the bot side thanks to the Wrecking Ball from Mama Bird. But half time has already been shown. And this is the best opportunity for macro machines to try and get an immortal, because once level 7 hits, that's when Venus is really going to be able to take down these immortals. That's when that level 7 talent is going to be there, but looks like it's not even going to be needed this time around. They're going to be able to get this pretty early on. Venus taking a lot of damage, though. They could look for the fight. But right now, it's just I'm a Burb, Waterlong, and Sarah that they're trying to keep I'm a Burb alive. And with a double healer, they should be able to. The stun is out, but no one's really able to follow up on it. Now Torkin could be getting on the return play. Torkin almost down and will get finished off. So it's going to be another kill going the way of CM Daybreak. So that's a pretty big play for them. Not only do they get Torkin twice in a row, they're also going to be able to get these immortals. They're going to be able to get a decent amount of push in this top side. Now, it's still the early immortals, so it's not that big a deal. You're going to be able to take it down pretty quickly on the side of macro machines, especially when you have Saralith. And that is kind of the reason why, even if you don't have the racing composition, why it's useful to have someone that is able to race. Because not only is that what's going to be giving you the potential to get the immortal, that's also what you need if the enemy gets it to be able to take it down. Now the immortal's starting to get low, but they do have 4 still hitting. As Lunar Flare is going to pop, Death Punisher going to get thrown into the back of the Groundbreaker, going to get used on to Rackham instead. Now Torkin still looking for the fight. Wena's starting to get low on mana, but this Ford's starting to get low on health. They will be able to clear out the final bit of the immortal, but there's barely any health left on this fort. So one more push with or without an objective could kind of spell the end of this structure. Now, meanwhile, on the bot side, Hoku and MVP, they're continuing to fight, but the face swap not going to be able to come in to throw MVP underneath the cannon turrets. But again, just not going to be happening for either of these two teams. Very slight lead in terms of experience right now for CM Daybreak. Nothing really too big, though. But this extra structural advantage is definitely going to help, because now they're just going to have to stay around the top side. They're not going to really be able to roam down to the bot lane to keep that defense going. They need to make sure that this wave stays pushed out so that they can keep this fort alive for the next spawn. Now, Death Punisher going to get thrown into the backline, but again, the Iron Skin's going to be their Hand of Justice. You're not going to be in the area either. A Lunar Flare does land on the way out, but again, at that point, they just no longer have any kind of follow-through available. And now Aura could be in a bad spot, as Torkin is going to be able to land the Hand of Justice, but no follow-up is available. And they're still just going to be looking for these plays. Death Punisher going to get thrown into the backline. Groundbreaker is still available. Venus taking a lot of damage from that Blizzard coming out from Waterlong. As Waterlong going to get hit by the Chastise. And now the Death Wall is coming in from Aura as well. Aura taking a decent amount of damage. Leap of Faith. I believe that was meant for Aura, but takes Death Punisher back. But again, end of the day, doesn't really matter. Everyone's able to walk out from both of these two teams. Now I'm a Verb still in the area, going to throw Death Punisher back into the team, but because of that, I'm a Verb could be a little bit too far up, is trying to heal back up. The double healer does make it easier, but the issue is they're just lacking damage right now. Now they're able to get a decent chunk of it right back onto Rackham, as the Blizzard is buying some space, but it's not enough. Weedus going to be going all the way in, looking for Torkin. Multi-shot as well. Torkin's going to follow. And now Aura able to land one more shot. It's just Saralith. It's a 3-for-0. Weedus still chasing, looking for the Hungering Arrow. Will land the double combo, but the damage most likely, yeah, not going to be high enough, since that talent only gives that extra burst damage at the start. But that will be the top lane Ford going down. That is going to be level 10 coming out for CM Daybreak. And now they're going to get started on these immortals as well. Hoku trying to race back, but again, just down a talent, down a couple players, down a lot of pressure from the top side as well, as a halfway point has already been reached by CM Daybreak. And they should be able to just finish this off pretty cleanly. Sentinel's just going to be there to spot them out, but with a double Hungering Arrow bouncing around, And again, once Venus hits level 20, this is going to get even harder. It's going to get even worse. Already 17 stacks as well, and each one of those stacks are really going to be helping out because it's 150% bonus damage, which includes every single hit. It isn't just the final hit, but it also includes this bonus damage. So 17 by 6, that's about 100 damage more per hit, plus 150. So that's yeah, 250 bonus damage just off that first hit from the puncturing arrow, and then you can get 2 of them. And later on, we'll have even more. But now the push starting to come out on the bot side. Lunar Flare going to land on Arachnum. Still looking for a bit more with those hungering arrows, but so far just hitting onto the structures. They're even going to use the Starfall just to clear out this wave, make sure it's just the Immortal that they have to deal with. I'm a Burb even zoning out a little bit, but Venus could be in a bad spot, but not going to get thrown back with the Wrecking Ball. But now will be eventually, but the stun not there yet, level 11. Not going to be in time, as now they're going to have the pulse over top, but it's not going to be enough either. The suppression pulse just able to get the blind. It will push them out, but they're not going to be able to make any aggressive plays themselves on the side of Macro Machines. And now it is going to be suppression pulse, and it is going to be Warlord's challenge. So it is going to be that extra taunt. Is now Hoku getting picked off in the top side. It's 6-1 in terms of kills right now for CM Daybreak, and they're just really starting to win out across the map. The snowball is definitely starting to feel pretty real. They're about to hit level 13. They get a little bit of passive XP, but they don't have a wave to really try and sneak this off of. However, they could just look to fight anyway. It is still 4v5 on the map. Waterlong in a really bad spot. The Blizzard is there. The D-Shield as well. The Crushing Jaws will find 2. The taunt is there, but so is the Light Bomb. And just like that, it's going to be a 2 for nothing, and they're going to continue. Waterlong going to get stunned up again, goes into stasis, but the rest of the team is there to follow. Lunar Flare is there, but so is the Blessed Shield. It's 3-0, and they're just going to be able to walk this right through. They can go back to take this Siege Camp if they want, but it's a 3-0 trade. They can start pushing in this wave, and really, it's entirely up to them what they want to focus on. And considering that, at least in my opinion, they have the late game on the side of CM Daybreak anyway, this game's starting to look pretty good for them. Almost a full 2-level lead. MVP going to be taking this camp in the top side. We'll use that for some extra pressure as well. As we're watching CM Daybreak, they still have the talent advantage for now. 30 seconds until the Immortal spawns. But Hoku trying to snag this back, so they'll at least be able to get something for themselves. But now Torkin could be caught out, is alone in the middle of 5, and will just get fully eaten up. Rain of Vengeance not going to land on I'm a Bird, but leap in the backline on a Seraph. Light Bomb over top. Seraph is still going to be alive, but it's still getting run down. The Chastise lands into the Condemn, and Seraph is gone. Now Crushing Jaws just zoning out I'm a Bird, and now Hoku alone versus 5. Waterlog going to be the new target instead. Blessed Shield has been used in the backline. As they do take down Hoku, they are going to be able to take down the Jaina, and I'm a Bird is the final survivor. And during all this, the Impalers and the Cannons are still pushing through the bot lane. They've already taken down the wall. There's going to be an Immortal going into the top lane soon, and this just might be it. It's going to take a very large comeback to be able to come back into this game at this point. Macro Machines, they're definitely fallen just a little bit too far behind. 2.5 level lead right now. Still no talent lead, but they should get level 16 during this push. And this could even be the opportunity for them to end the game. Suppression Pulse just going to be used to help buy a little bit more time. They know that this is their last chance to fight on even talent here, but they're just not able to find the angle on the face swap. Not going to be able to bring Death Punisher in. So with that is going to be a full shield Immortal going to the top lane. Now in the bot lane, it did get a little bit of damage onto the keep, nothing too substantial. The wall is alive on the top side, so that is something that they have on Macro Machines. They are going to have that extra little bit of a buffer area to try and clear this out. Now Waterlong is here, and that's going to be their main and really only source of damage onto this Immortal, especially while it's still shielded, while it's still in range phase. Once it's in melee, maybe Hoku can walk up as well, but Aura is making this so difficult. So is Venus, just over top. And now the Chastise as well. They're able to throw Death Punisher behind the wall, and there is no one to get through, but the Blessed Shield is going to be in the area. The D-Shield has already been used. Suppression Pulse will land on all 5, and that's going to give them a decent amount of time to just hit onto this Immortal. But again, the damage just really not there. Level 16 advantage is now up for CM Daybreak, as they have almost a full 3-level Groundbreaker. Going to land on a 2, but I'm a Bird still going to be targeted out. Death Punisher starting to get low as well, and now the swap is going to be there. They could have found Aura, but instead they're going to aim towards Death Punisher. Iron Skin into the Blessed Shield, and look at that, the Crushing Jaws will get interrupted, but they're still able to take down the main tank. Waterlong still alive in the backline as they're able to trade for another, and MVP trying to survive. They're all so low, but Hoku just not able to get the damage and will be going down. Saralith and Torkin still trying to walk forward, but it is just 2 healers. Without Waterlong, they're just missing out the damage that they need. Saralith starting to get DC low. Condemn's gonna be there, and the Hungering Arrow coming out of Weakness gonna be enough. And I think this might be it. They still have the Immortal. They have 3-level advantage. 2 of the players are going to be coming back up, but there's just so much time to deal damage here. Burb is in the area. Warlord Challenge is available. Could help buy a little bit of time. Is now Weedus going to get thrown into the backline. Warlord Challenge now going to get popped, and they're still looking for Weedus, but Weedus is able to back up. Suppression Pulse now going to land into the backline, and Weedus will eventually go down. They got 2, and now the Water Elemental still hitting onto Aura, and Waterlong able to land 1 more Icicle. I think that's what it's called. Frostbolt, close enough. And Rackham should be falling with the Groundbreaker into the backline. It's a 4-for-0. And all of a sudden, we're back within a level and a half. But even so, this is going to be a very, very difficult comeback, because they got a lot off that play. They could get more, though. MVP is on the Bruiser Camp. The Blizzard is there. And now the Groundbreaker is there. But the leap, unfortunately, going to be coming out from MVP. Not going to be going down. The Macro Machines, at least, will be able to steal away this Bruiser Camp. Will be able to get their own level 16. So now they are tied in terms of talents. And they're just going to try and brute force this top lane fort. And I think this is very, very much needed. They have double healer. They're definitely going to be able to out-sustain it. Hoku even going to be able to bring out a little bit of the shielding. And this will help mitigate some of that passive push pressure coming out from this top lane. And once they clear this lane out as well, even if they leave the 1 cannon, they're going to have a lot more time fighting against this Immortal. Now, the Bruiser Camp has already been cleared out basically immediately on spawn, but the important thing is they got the experience for it. I think that's the main thing that they wanted on the side of Macro Machines. They know they're not going to get too much in terms of push priority with it. So I think they're still going to be overall happy with that play. But now it's still level 18 to level 16. It is a very close to level 17, so the stat difference not going to be as high as it has been. But the Immortals have spawned, and this is a defensive spawn, so it could be an opportunity for them to fight, as now they're immediately going to push back onto the Johannas. Now they're looking at the Rain of Vengeance, lands onto 2, D-Show to the backline, and now the Crushing draws into the Light Bomb, able to find 2 Suppression Pulse, now going to be coming through, but Hoku doing that from the grave, as now MVP is alone in the front line, starting to get decently low. The leap not going to land onto anyone, and MVP is still alive with a leap of faith. Coming out from Weakness is now Aura. May have stepped up a little bit too far. They have a lot of stuns. And with the extra jump, Saralith not able to bring out the damage. And Aura going to be able to walk this out as halftime is reached. That was such a close fight. I genuinely think if they were level 18 to 18, that's a fight that goes away with Macro Machines. They have a massive level lead right now. And they're going to take this time to get a little bit of damage done to the Immortal. They definitely had to give up the first half, but right now they're in a position where they could look for more. Hoku going to be back up right now. Suppression Ball is going to be back on 5 seconds, but Saralith going to get targeted. Ancient Spear is going to land, and Burb thrown into the backline. Gets the Warlord Challenge, but it's not enough. Groundbreaker lands on the 3, but Burb is so low, and there's a Condemn, and now Light Bomb is up once again. They're going to be able to go onto Burb. The healing is coming out. Groundbreaker as well, but they've already lost Waterlong, and Waterlong is her damage. Leap in the backline. MVP still looking for more. Burb will eventually go down. Weedus had the damage. The Hungering Arrows going to be dodged out by Hoku, but it's still a 3-for-0. There's still the wave pushing into the bot side. Only 27% left on the core. They're going to take down this bot lane. They're going to look for Hoku as well. And now it's just Torkin, the only healer standing back here trying to keep this alive. It was a really, really valiantly fought defense, but it is going to be not enough, because right now, Torkin with the D-Shield will stay alive for now, but the core will not, and that's what counts at the end of the day. Game 1, going over to CM Daybreak. Yeah, and again, really, really close game coming out from both of these two teams, or at least it was at one point, because CM Daybreak, they took a very strong lead early on. They held onto it, but Macro Machines, just in the one fight around their top lane keep, they almost brought this game right back. And then the next fight around the Immortals, I genuinely think just a couple more skill shots hitting, maybe just a little bit more in the stats, and they would have won that. Aura barely had any HP. MVP barely had any HP. And if they took down those two, Death Punisher would definitely follow. Rackham would definitely follow. They might even be able to catch out Weakness there. So It doesn't look close in terms of the kill score. It did not look close in terms of the XP lead, but there was definitely a couple of close fights at the end there. So maybe Macro Machines will be able to bring out a win for map number 2. But for now, CM Daybreak 1-0 lead. We are going to head to a break, but when we come back, going to be headed straight into the next draft. So don't go anywhere.
I saw it when I walked, boy.
Welcome back for game number 2 between CM Daybreak and Macro Machines as Moist Venus. Thank you very much for the 69 bits. Very perfectly timed with the start of the draft. And thanks for the cast. I mean, thanks for the game. I love casting. Casting is something I do as a thing of passion. It is a thing of beauty for me. It's just something that I absolutely love doing, especially for Heroes of the Storm. This community has been absolutely wonderful for me, and I believe I've now been part of it for little over a year. Crazy to think that it's already been that long. I still feel like the nuke it on the block sometimes. But either way, we are into the draft now, and we are going to Towers of Doom. Now, since CM Daybreak are the ones that have first pick, this is a map chosen by Macro Machines. And I gotta say, this has been a very popular map so far, at least from the games that I've casted. I think this is probably my 4th or 5th cast with Towers of Doom. I think I've gotten it basically every single series so far. Or actually, I say that, and yet I remember neither one of my 2 series last night had it. They were both Dragonshire into Cursed Hollow. So I guess I'm a liar, but I've definitely seen a couple of Towers of Doom. Definitely going to be a bigger map, and it's a lot of fun to play. It's a lot of fun to cast because, again, this is a map that facilitates comeback. If you don't fall off super hard, because obviously if you get a huge lead, it's very easy to keep. You're just able to rotate between the bell towers, but anything less than that, and it is a map that can be decided by one fight mid to late game, and that completely swings things around. This is where we've seen the greatest comeback, so gonna be super excited to cast this out. But so far the draft has been pretty identical to game number 1, just gonna be the white main and Varian banned away on the side of CM Daybreak and Macro Machines. Just banning out the Sylvanas for now. And we'll see if they do change up this second ban, because the offlane does matter a lot more on this map. And they're going to ban away the Anduin instead, so that is going to be a different ban. Just trying to remove that off of Rackham obviously was incredibly annoying, especially with the Leap of Faith and the Light Bomb. Two such powerful abilities. I mean, either one would make Anduin a very strong hero, but the fact that he's able to use both and has a cleanse and is a very strong healer even without all that, definitely a little bit busto. But Joanna's still going to be left in the pool, so Death Punisher going to be locking that in first for CM Daybreak. And they definitely struggled to take it down, but right now they're going to be longing the Malfurion right away for Seralith and the Dahaka for Hoku. So no Artanis for game number 2, unfortunately, unless they do try to whip it out in the DPS role, but I think that is going to be a little bit less likely. But Dahaka obviously going to be really strong on this map. Very good double soaker, very good at joining in those fights as well. It doesn't matter, you don't need to worry too much about the timing if you're trying to do a fight in the bot side, especially if you're trying to invade on a Saber camp. As we are going to be seeing Stukov and Tychus locked in for Rackham and Venus. Now the variant is banned away, so you're not going to have that classic Stukov variant combo. It is going to be paired with a Joanna. Blessed Shield does work, especially with the Condemn, but it's definitely not as solid. And with Stukov, you're not going to have that cleanse. So they're still going to get some good value out of it. Lurking Arm, obviously, always going to be a very strong ability. And then the healing that Stukov is able to provide, especially that big burst healing, is always going to be a force to be reckoned with. And then with those heroics, going to be able to buy a little bit of space for Venus. I assume they're going to give Aura a pretty solid hero here as well. Just to have that extra little bit of damage, because Tychus on his own definitely going to be struggling a little bit. But wouldn't be surprised to see a potential mage coming in later on. But Leoric is going to be the ban coming out of Macro Machines, trying to get rid of that other offlaner. And Garrosh going to be the ban from CM Daybreak. So going to be forcing Amaburb onto a different tank this time around. Now, without the Garrosh, it's going to be Stitches. Okay, there we go. It's been a few games in a row where Stitches gets banned. I've yet to cast one, but finally going to be able to. Stitches. Very, very strong main tank, very strong hero overall. And paired with Chromie as well, Waterlaw, I'm going to really be able to bring out the damage this time around. I really like that draft so far. And if you're able to get Temporal Loop as well, it makes things even scarier. But it is going to be Sonya locked in for MVP. And I still would like to see some damage. And yeah, it's just going to be the Orphea once again for Aura. I like it. I mean, it's very similar to their draft for game number 1. It is 3 of the exact same heroes. It's just going to be Venus on Tychus instead of the Vala. And Rackham's going to be on the Stukov instead of the Anduin. So they're going to have a little bit less AoE teamfight, but they're still going to have Blessed Shield, Condemn, Leap, Crushing Jaws, most likely anyway, coming out of these players. So a very, very strong side as we see the Maiev. Okay. So we are going to have the Emerald Bind coming through, and Torkin going to be very strong on this potentially. And it's going to be so hard to play, especially on this Orphea. Everyone else can kind of stand in the middle of it. Sonya doesn't care as much. Stukov, still decently strong, even with the pull. If you have the swipes, you're going to be able to just knock them out of the area. But Gonna be a fun one, but either way, it's time to head in for game number 2.
Prepare yourself for battle.
All right, and we're back out on the Nexus. It is going to be Towers of Doom, game number 2 between CM Daybreak and Macro Machines. Currently, CM Daybreak, they are leading 1-0. And if they're able to win this, it would be their first domination of the season. It is only week 2 though, so still the start for both of these two teams. So a lot to look forward to ahead for the season, but interestingly enough, we are going to be having the Stitches, and I've been wanting to see a Stitches for so long. I love Stitches. I know a lot of people think he's a boring hero because it's just, oh, you landed a hook, haha. And I agree, haha, it's a lot of fun, you know? Probably not the best way to describe it, but I'm a Punisher, or Death Punisher, sorry. Immediately going to get pulled back, but the Iron Skin is going to be there in time as Tarkin. Going to have the Emerald Blade, looks to pull back, but instead Tarkin just going to get immediately taken down. A Death Punisher gets dragged back into the wall. It takes a lot of damage as well. Entangling Roots, not going to be able to find anyone. As another hook is going to land. It's onto Venus, and we'll take a couple Sandblasts, but it's not going to be enough for the kill yet. But now Aura going to get a little bit of poke down as they do get first move into the bot lane. There's already going to be a couple of missed minions here coming out for Macro Machine, so a little bit less as I'm a burb. Could be in a pretty bad spot. Trying to walk in, but it's all 4 members there just waiting for that Stitch is going to be able to take them down. And it's just going to be another kill. It's now Aura. Umbral binded into the Entangling Roots. They don't really have any follow-up in terms of damage, though. Sandblast is going to be coming out a little bit later. But for now, Waterlong just really focusing on getting those minions pushed out. It is going to be the Sandblast talent. So it's going to overall increase the echoes, overall increase the amount of damage those Sandblasts are going to be able to deal. But like any other questing talent, it will need time to scale up. It will need time for it to really gain its strength. But now in the meanwhile, they're getting started on their own siege camp, but it looks like they're going to get invaded, and it's going to be all 5 members coming down. I'm a burb, walking forward, trying to buy some space, Entangling Roots, buying some time as well as I'm a burb, still going to be going down. They won't be able to steal out the camps, but they should be able to win out on the fight as now Torkin is alone in the middle of everyone. Umbral bind onto 3, keeping the follow-up, but not going to be able to keep the play alive. It is 4-0 in the kill score so far for CM Daybreak, and they're just taking another really early lead. Seralith just taking a huge amount of damage on the backline. Now here in this bottom lane, the Sappers will all be able to land. It will take down the gate. It will take a little bit of damage over top as well. As now the hook is going to land. Venus may have gone a little bit too far, but with the dash, going to be able to get back out to safety. As most of this bot lane wall is completely gone. Already almost a full level lead coming out of CM Daybreak. There's a decent wave in the mid lane for them to catch, but assuming that can happen, could be an opportunity for them to slowly but surely even out the lead. Because they do have a slight advantage in the offlane. Hoku should be faster at this double clear than MVP. Just in general, Dahaka is a lot stronger on it. Did get nerfed specifically for this double soak lead. With a W, just overall losing a little bit of damage. As now I'm a burb is trying to stop them from coming in, but could have gone a little bit too far. Seralith already taking a lot of damage, but now Aura will get a decent amount of HP taken down, but the Emerald Bind not coming through yet. As now Torkin will be able to dodge through Death Punisher and gonna get hooked, but again, it's Death Punisher. It's definitely not the target you're looking for. Now the top side altars are gonna get swapped back and forth. MVP and Hoku both gonna be able to get to his Venus. Now the bot lane. But the lurking arm comes through, trying to prevent the hook onto Venus. But now Hoku's going to be here. Will land the drag instead. But what about the fight itself right now? Death Punisher, decently low in the front line, but has Iron Skin, is able to buy a little bit of space as Venus once again trying to get the channel. But now Aura is still hitting on the backside. MVP just trying to zone them away on the front side. But neither one really able to come out on top. As now Venus gets hooked. Do they have the damage to follow up on? Entangling Roots is there, but instead it's going to be Hoku going out first. Umbral bind again on MVP and Venus, but they're able to just walk in with it. And now I'm a burb all alone into 5, trying to survive, trying to eat up from Venus. And so far, we'll stay alive. The time trap is there, but one last vault. And Aura going to be able to get the kill, and they're also going to be able to get the altar. So it's going to be 36-32 now, coming out for CM Daybreak. And now, before it was almost a full level, now it just is that full level. 6-0 in terms of kills. CM Daybreak, they're starting to get a massive advantage across the map. Now, Hoku, definitely going to help even that out. That's a lot of missed soak for MVP, even if MVP does collect it now. Those are all those mini orbs, and Hoku will be able to get a lot just off of this wave, but MVP dealing a lot of damage to Dragon, not going to be able to land backwards as we're seeing another invade coming out of the bot side. It is level 7 on both these two sides. Torgan is going to be in the area. Death Punisher actually taking a lot of damage. Rumble Bind is there as well, able to pull back a few, but not enough to really follow up. Time Trap is there as well, and Death Punisher starting to get low, but the Iron Skin is going to be coming out now as Torgan going back in, not going to be able to pull anyone though. Between this takes the Dragon's Breath in the backline, or trying to play a little bit in the front, but it's starting to get pretty low on mana. They could definitely continue playing this on macro machines, and that's exactly what they're going to look for. I'm a Bird. Not going to be able to throw another hooks. Does not have the extra range yet. Now, those Sapper Camps are going to get cleared away. Same with the ones that were caught naturally from CM Daybreak, but that's still going to be the 2 camp advantage in terms of experience. And I think that's really where things start getting a little bit scary, but with all the waves kind of cleared out, with all the waves balanced out, it is going to go back to that about half level lead as Hoku was able to get so much soak in that top side during all this. Now, I'm a Burb. Might have gone a little bit too far, is alone, but now the rest of the team is behind him. A Burb still trying to survive and just going to get burst down. Now, Torkin is in the backside as well, or taking a decent chunk of damage, but not enough for the one shot. And MVP gonna continue looking for the play. Waterlong still with the Sandblast, looking for more Venus. Not gonna get pulled back by the Umbral Bind. And so this altar just gonna immediately get used and immediately gonna crash in for that extra 4 damage. 36-28 now for CM Daybreak. And now with 4, they're gonna start pushing into this bot side. It is gonna be 4 versus soon 4. But CM Daybreak, or sorry, Backroom Machines is a little bit behind on the plays. Now Torkin could be in a bad spot, but now the slowing stats are there. Venus starting at decently low and will get finished off. Now Rackham, Dragon's Breath, all 3 gonna land, but not gonna be able to get the follow-up. Burb still running forward. Should have Hook coming up soon, but who are they gonna try and hook for? Because Death Punisher right now, it should be the target, not gonna be able to find it, and I'm not even sure what Burb hooked there, but definitely hooked something. But it is still going to be the pickoff coming in for Macro Machines, and they were down 10s. So getting a pickoff when you're down that heroic talent, always going to be a very solid trade, always going to be a very worthwhile trade. And now they're going to hit that official level 10. And so, again, the talent tiers aren't even. They're not down bell towers. And this is a map where comebacks definitely happen, because this is a very small active area map. It's very thin. It's very tall, but it is very thin. But now MVP gonna get hooked back, but probably not the target they expected. Death Punisher will get hit by the containment disc, so no huge follow-up is going to be coming through. Torkin with the Emerald Bind, able to pull back MVP, and now they're just going to be using the Gorge, but they have the extra Crushing Jaws in the back of the Nama Burb, all alone, trying to survive, and Cyril is trying to heal, and will be able to keep them alive, as now MVP may be a little bit too far out, and this is still 4v5, by the way. Torkin looking for the Emerald Bind on the Death Punisher, not going to be able to pull them back. But considering this is a 4v5, this has been very, very well played so far by the side of Macro Machines. And because of that, Hoku going to be able to get that altar on the top left. And now the safer altar could still be an opportunity for them. But they need to start rotating quickly because the entire roster of CM Daybreak is already here. Now Hoku going to land the drag, just trying to hit off MVP. Dragon's Breath not going to come out in time, so they will get the altar. But what about the fight afterwards? Because now Torkin is coming through. I'm a Burb in the area as well. Containment Disc is going to get used onto the Joanna. Isolation on the back line, as now Venus gets hooked into the middle of everyone, but the damage is still not there. Waterlong on the other side of the play. And now Time Trap is there for Death Punisher again, just trying to keep the Joanna off of the play. But they're looking for Sarah. The drag is going to be there, but now Torkin, the one that's getting run down. And neither side able to get the kills yet, but they are starting to get low. Another Gorge is going to be coming through, this time on to Death Punisher. But again, they just don't have the space to really utilize the Waterlong. Starting to get low on mana as well. We'll have the tap. But somehow no one goes down in that very, very extended fight. It is still going to be 7-1, the kill score favoring the side of CM Daybreak. And pretty big push on the top side for MVP as well. That's going to be a lot of Miss Soka if no one's there to catch it. But we're even seeing the level lead overall has definitely shrunk down to basically nothing. Maybe a quarter of a level, maybe half of a level at most. But it's basically even now between these two teams in terms of experience. Containment Disc Gonna go wide. Death Punisher not gonna get caught out there. As MVP starting to get a decent amount of damage onto these mid lane structures though. But now the Death Laser is gonna be coming through the Kraken Laser Drill. Or sorry, Draken Laser Drill. That's what it's called, yeah. But it doesn't really matter right now because the fight's basically already over. The hook does come through, but it is just going to be onto that Joanna. Definitely not the target they want. And considering Torkin is up in the mid lane, they probably don't want that fight either on the side of Macro Machines. But now the push is going to be going the other way. They are going to have that extra priority in the top side. It's going to be a lot of miss soak as well. So, but MVP cannot walk up there right now because the altars are spawning in just 2 seconds. And this is going to be another big fight. 32 to 24 right now. Hoku going to be able to get the hook, but again, it's just on a Death Punisher. Now the Silence Lurking Arm buying a lot of space. Torkin in the backline trying to hook them back, but no follow-up is there. Saralith still trying to keep everyone alive with the Tranquility. I'm a Burb still alive. Rackham starting to get low, and they're looking for Aura as well, but the burst skill is going to be in time. Torkin able to dodge out of the Crushing Jaws, but is low enough that they have to back away. Now Rackham gonna get pulled into the backside, but the Lurking Arm is there. Blessed Shield as well. And just like that, the fight is swinging. It's a 1-for-0 so far. 1-for-1 now. As Hoku and Waterlong, they're still in the area. Weena's gonna get burst down to half HP. But Rackham gonna be the one to be able to take the topside altar. Hoku gonna try to get the one to the bottom, but Death Punisher is there, and with a shield glare, gonna be able to prevent now Hoku in a very dangerous spot, but the dragon's gonna be there. So it's gonna be the 1-for-1 trade, but Torkin almost goes down. Aura with one Shadow Waltz almost gets the kill. Rackham gonna be able to get the other altar as well. And it is 32 to 16, double core health. But these fights are getting closer. And one thing I did mention, but level 13 was hit. The extended hook is now live. It is gonna have that extra 40% range. And the damage is really starting to scale on both these two teams. Level 14, pretty big number because it is gonna be that extra Chromie talent. Shifting Sands is gonna be there. And this is gonna be a lot of extra spell power. And considering how long these fights have been, that 5% is really gonna be able to add up in these team fights. Waterlong, basically their main damage shot right now. Torkin, obviously more of a playmaker than just a raw DPS coming out, as the Emerald Bind is gonna be there. And now MVP gonna be getting hit by all the Dragon's Breaths. The leap is there, but the Containment Disc has landed as well, slowing Sands, and MVP should just be going down. One hit is all it takes. They will lose their Cyber Camp in the bot side, and actually with the Draken Laser Drill, they may even just lose out on this Bell Tower in its entirety. Now they are going to be trading this for boss, but honestly I think the Bell Tower is better. Now they even have one more Sapper on the way that should crash here, and that is going to be this bot lane going completely over to CM Daybreak. Now the boss is going to be hit, so 4 extra HP going to be going back into them. Now the next altar is going to be spawning, but it is going to be spawning in the bot side. It is the one altar though, so they could choose to ignore it if they just want to try and get as much value out of this top side. They still have 2 Sappers for the Bell Tower if they do want to fight for this. Because now I'm a Bird does spot out Death Punisher. They see Rackham as well. Time Trap is onto all 3. Death Punisher gonna get pulled back, and now Weena's actually dashing in forward, but the Lurking Arm buying so much space. Now MVP might be a little bit alone. Will get hit by the Ice Blade, but the Blessed Shield from Death Punisher going to keep this fight away. Torkin with the Emerald Bind able to pull them back. Death Punisher gonna get taken down, and now without the Joanna, this fight's really gonna change. Rackham's gonna be the first to go. Weena's gonna get hooked on that secondary, and one more auto, and it's gonna be a 3-4-0. Macro Machines just absolutely able to take over this fight. They now have the damage to burst down this Joanna. Without this Joanna, these fights are completely different. They no longer have that front line to rely on. They no longer have that Iron Skin that keeps the hook from dismantling them. And I mean, we're even seeing how much they're getting for it. They're gonna get all 3 of these altars. They're gonna be able to get this altar again in the top side. I'm a Burb even gonna wait. They're gonna get the Bell Tower on the top side, so I'm gonna wait for that altar take. And all of a sudden, this was a double the score, 32 to 16. All of a sudden, with that one play, it is 18 to 16. We are basically tied up in terms of structural score, but look at the level change now. Level 17.5 compared to barely level 16. This is absolutely huge for Macro Machines. This is their first lead of the game, as now Death Punisher almost gets hit by the Containment Disc. The Iron Hook is going to land, but again, no follow-up as the lead in the backline. Draken Laser Drill as well. And now they do have the Crushing Jaws, and Waterlong just going to get burst down. But now MVP is in the backline. Will get slowed down, will get taken down. It's a 1-for-1, but now the sappers are going to be able to come in. One of them already going to be reaching onto the core, but now the drag is there, and Aura will get taken down. They are Aura farming on macro machines right now. And now Venus could be the next target. Umbral Bind is going to be there trying to pull them right back in and will be underneath. Death Punisher will get taken down. And just all the damage coming out from these walls makes it a 3-for-2 in favor of macro machines. I mean, that's literally, that's the end of that trade. It was a super close fight. And now they're going to be able to at least protect their bot lane. But that's all they're going to be able to get. Now this Sapper Camp in the bot lane is going to be going back over to macro machines. They're now a little bit further up than they were before in terms of level. So we are going to have both teams retake their bell towers. So not too much change there, but Hoku, at the very least, going to be able to secure the siege camp in the top side. Doesn't look like anyone's even going to be approaching it as Torkin just trying to get in the way. We'll throw out the containment disc, slow racking down, keep the healer away for a little while. But the Sapper Camp is going to be pushing on the top side. They will probably want to clear this. It shouldn't take them too long anyway. But it does mean the first move is going to be there on the bot side for macro machines and Hoku. Just going to be able to freely take this altar. And now we are fully tied on the core HP. It is going to be 14-14. As level 20s are going to be coming through. Master Hooker is going to be there. That's actually a really solid one. I don't think I've actually ever read the talents. I just know that it makes Hook better and makes Hook more often. And now they're even looking to continue this push. There's another containment disc on the backline from Torkin. Just going to be able to reach. And now Torkin needs to back away a little bit. Venus going to be a little bit dangerous as the hook is going to land onto Death Punisher. But I think it's Death Punisher. It's always hard to tell with the names. Yeah, it is Death Punisher. Sometimes I forget the names because, especially with Iron Skin, but now Death Punisher going to get hooked back once again and will get dragged and Umbral Binded as well. They're just trying to burn everything right now onto this draw and the Isolate as well. Can they burst through? And Death Punisher will eventually go down. Crushing Jaws gonna be not gonna be enough to take down Umbral Bourbon. Now the healing is gonna be there. The drag just barely missed time. Acero is trying to keep everyone alive with the Tranquility as Waterlong starting to get low. The leap in the backline. MVP gonna get pulled back. Torkin able to do that for the team. And now Aura could be the next target, actually. A couple autos is all that's needed. And Aura gonna go down. And now Rackham is inside the containment disc. Burb instead gonna be looking towards Venus. And they have the Gorge. So Venus gonna be all alone into 4. Will be able to spawn back out, but will immediately go down. And it is a 3-0 for macro machines. There's gonna be 2 altars spawning in the bot side, but the bottom bell tower gonna be going down to macro machines as well. And with the boss available, they actually have lethal. If they're able to get both of these altars and the boss, they can end the game here and now. This is going to be a very, very strong defense that needs to come out right here, right now from CM Daybreak. As Hoku just going to be covering the area for now, going to start channeling onto the altar. And even if they're not going to be able to get it right away, this is still something that they need to be worried about. Now this mid lane also just getting hit. Piercing Sand's already up. And again, when you have the Sandblast talents, it does take a while for it to come through, but the Piercing Sands on its own is going to be strong as I'm a verb. Will hook back Torkin. The swipes are going to be coming out instead. And now they have 5 of the bell towers in this game. The drag is going to land, but so is the hook. Rackham inside the Gorge now, and that's exactly going to be the target. Sarah now in the area. Leap in the backline as well, and now Rackham still trying to survive. The Isolate is there, but Waterlog just trying to hit over top. Draken Laser Drill is back up, and another drag, and another Umbral Bind. MVP still alive, and somehow they're able to survive for now. Venus 180 HP. It's a 1-for-1. And it's going to be the Sonya for the Stitches. Now Aura still trying to make plays. Sarah taking a decent amount of damage in the backline. Torkin still over the top, trying to come in from behind, looking for Venus, not going to be able to, but now the drag is there. Now they have the entangling roots as well, but now Torkin going to get traded back instead. Aura now in the middle of the team. Now this is where Aura wants to be, trying to walk forward. The Slowing Sands are there from Waterlong, but so is the Condemned, so is the Overkill. And it's going to be a 3-for-1. CM Daybreak able to bring that back just a little bit. They're only going to get 2 damage from this altar, but it is something. And now they're going to try and just remove the boss off of the map because they do not want this thing alive if macro machines are able to push in once again. So they will get that 4 extra damage, but they are going to need to use some time to retake these bell towers. Half HP still left. Death Punisher not super tanky right now. We'll have the Iron Skin to buy a little bit of extra space. Rackham obviously going to keep the healing as well. but they will be back up to defend this bot lane, at least partially. They have the sapper camp already walking in, so that's not going to get stolen, but it looks like we're about to go right back to a fully neutral state between these two teams. This final bell tower is going to get turned right back to the blue side. Oh, wallow, for all of my AoE friends. And it's just going to be all three back to its natural original state. But it's still 8-5 in terms of core health. So one more fight could be the decider. Now, this next altar is just going to be the solo one spawning in this bottom side. So on its own, not going to be enough for the win as Torkin. Just trying to be a little bit annoying. Get a little bit of poke damage coming through. Siege camp on the top side going to be going down to Hoku. So they will have a little bit of extra pride, a little bit of extra push in the top side. But it appears that the bot side's where the push is being aimed for CM Daybreak. And they're even going to pop the Draken Laser Drill. They just want to take this bell tower. But now Entangling Roots are going to be their MVP. Not going to get hooked. The minion is there. And they're just going to be able to take this bell tower in its entirety. And that's actually going to be pretty big for them. Because, again, this next altar is in the bot side. If they're able to get it, they're going to be at 3 points left. As now Torkin is coming through looking for another play. Not going to be able to find Death Punisher. Going to get hooked back. Containment Disc is there as well. But Isolate was thrown at the same time. So they are going to be missing that. And now they're still looking for this backline. Iron Skin is going to be there as Hoku trying to get in the way. But not there in time. And now Hoku super low. Blessed Shield over top. Leap as well. But the Unkillable is going to keep them alive. Torkin just trying to keep everyone away from the front line. Trying to buy more spaces. Death Punisher going to get hooked into the back line. Needs a couple more hits. And now it's a 1-for-1 trade. Torkin for Death Punisher. I'm a Bird has the Gorge onto Aura. And slightly mistimed on the Sandblast. But the autos are going to be coming through instead. Now I'm Bird and Hoku still trying to fight. Rakim going to get hooked into the back line. But the swipes coming through. Sandblast not going to be in range. And now, again, it's 2-for-2 so far. I'm a Bird with another hook. Gonna be able to land onto MVP. Do they have the damage? They don't have the range. Waterlong and Saralith trying to back up instead. A couple more autos coming through. And another hook is gonna land. Just need a little bit more damage, and MVP will be going down. Wena's gonna be slowed down, but again, another swipe coming. This level 20 talent is huge. Rakim gonna get slowed down. Those Sandblasts are doing a lot of damage. Dragon's Breath over top will be enough for the finish. And now Wena's the final survivor. I'm a Burb. Not going to be able to land the hooks. They're not going to be able to get all the members out, but they will be able to take down 4. And now with these time traps as well, they're just going to start pushing into the enemy bell tower. They're going to have the wave here as well. They're going to let their own minions deal with the one on the right side. And now they have lethal, and there's 2 altars spawning in the bottom side, 30 seconds away. Rakim spawns in 40. This is going to be a very, very difficult defense that absolutely has to come out of CM Daybreak right now if they want to survive. And now Containment Disc has landed in the top side. Aura in the area as well. But now Saralith and I'm a Burb, they're in the area. They could look for the play. And they're going to find Venus. And Venus is going to be the target. But a Blessed Shield is going to come out, prevent the fight. Draken Laser Drill is there as well as the final altar has gone down. They can't, neither side can let any one of these go. But Torkin gonna start channeling in the bot side. The fight in the middle is already gonna be going. Venus is gone and Torkin will be able to get the final shots. It's gonna land onto the core. And just like that, they did it on Macro Machines. We are going to game number 3. Definitely not the ending I expected, but it is the ending I wanted. Because let me tell you, there are always massive comebacks on this map. CM Daybreak, they took a huge early lead, but all it took is one fight for Macro Machines to completely turn it around. And just like that, they're gonna prevent the domination at the very least. And instead, we're going to be going right to a game 3. Now we're going to take a short break, but when we come back, we'll be heading to the deciding match. So don't go anywhere. All right, and we are back, and we are headed straight into the third and final deciding match between CM Daybreak and Macro Machines. And map number 3 is going to be Tomb of the Spider Queen. So, going to be a pretty fun one here. Definitely not the usual deciding match, and I believe this is also the first Tomb of the Spider Queen that I've casted this whole season. So, that should be pretty interesting. Now, since I assume this draft is going to start out basically like normal, I will give this moment a very quick shout out to Factor 75, the sponsor of this stream. Now, Factor 75, if you don't know what it is, if you have been living a little bit under a rock, no offense, but so they're a pretty big deal. It is a meal service plan, and it basically what it is, it comes straight to your door. These meals just takes 2 minutes. They're going to be completely ready. They are pre-made for you, and they are healthy, nutritious, and way cheaper than eating out. So if you know you're gonna have some stressful times coming up, if you want to relax coming up, you just want to take the time for yourself, you want to save some money, whatever the reason, Factor 75 is the choice for you. So click the link in my chat or use my code FACTORSE82337 to get 50% off your first box and free breakfast for a year. Give it a go. Don't like it, can unsubscribe after, but I can pretty much assure you, you're definitely going to be coming back for more once you try that first bite. So thank you very much to Factor 75 for sponsoring this stream. Now let us get back into this draft. Now, kind of as I expected and kind of as I hope, to be honest, considering I did decide to do the ad there instead, the drafts have not changed in the slightest. Still going to be a White Mane variant band on the side of CM Daybreak. Still going to be the Sylvanas band on the side of Macro Machines. So no major changes there. So because of that, I'm not sure what they're going to change. Now, I am a little bit surprised that CM Daybreak, they decided they're okay playing into the Maiev. So Tarkin not going to be able to really threaten them too much with it. But this time around, they are going to ban away the Joanna. Now, I'm wondering what that's going to change. Now, obviously, Tomb of the Spider Queen, definitely a small map, the smallest map we've seen. I think it genuinely is smaller than Battlefield of Eternity. It is definitely wider. It definitely has the 3 lanes, but it's also very kind of squeezed vertically. It's just going to be that little itty-bitty lane, but first pick is going to be the Anubarak coming in for Death Punisher. So already seeing a couple changes here in the draft. And I think that the Joanna ban especially is going to be that big difference maker in the top side. But now we're going to see Tyrael locked in for Hoku and the Anduin locked in for Seralith. Now, again, I want to emphasize this. This was locked in by Hoku. So this very well could be the offlane Tyrael. It deals a decent amount of damage now, has pretty okay clear. It's definitely not going to match something like Dahako or Leoric in terms of dual soaking and clear, but it's a smaller map. And Judgment is a very strong ability, especially coming in from the offlane, just that guaranteed engage onto someone. And or potentially going to be the Sanctification instead, which is just going to keep the team more and more alive. And Anduin also going to be taken for Seralith. Now, on the opposite side, CM Daybreak, they are going to lock in the Nazebo for Venus and the Stukov for Rackham. Now, Nazebo typically not super meta, but on Tomb of the Spider Queen is quite strong. Again, those lanes are close together. It's a lot easier to get those stacks going. Nazebo just going to get tankier and tankier and stronger as the game goes on, depending on those talents. So, very solid pick overall. Going to give them a little bit more HP that they're going to need to burn through on the side of Macro Machines. And again, the damage that Nazebo can deal, especially once those talents, those quests really stack up, it gets pretty scary regardless of the build. But now, next phase of bans, the Leoric is going to be the ban coming out from Macro Machines, and the Greymane going to be the answer for CM Daybreak, removing that as well. Now, next 2 picks are going to be going over to Macro Machines, so I'm wondering what they're going to decide to take for themselves here, because the options are kind of endless, and it is going to be the Blaze for I'm a Burb. So I'm wondering if this maybe is going to be the offlane Blaze and main tank Tyrael. It could be main tank Blaze and offlane Tyrael. I mean, they're both kind of flexes, though I think in general Tyrael is main tank and Blaze is typically the offlane, but they can definitely both be played in either role. As Alarak going to be locked in for Tarkin. So that's another really, really fun hero. We got to watch it yesterday. Unfortunately, it didn't really pan out, but if this Alarak gets going, if you're able to get a couple of early kills, you're able to get that sadism going, it's really easy to just continue that push. This is a very huge snowballing hero. If Olarak's able to get ahead early, just get those picks, then Olarak's going to be able to continue getting those picks. But last 2 picks for CM Daybreak, going to be Dahaka for MVP and the Vala for Aura. So not gonna be the... Wow, what's her name? The Orphea. Once again, I don't know how I forgot it, considering we have casted the last 2 games. But yeah, the Orphea is not going to be in this game unless Waterlong picks it. But I'd be a little bit surprised with their composition. You don't need Olarak on Orphea. But the Vala is going to be really strong as well. Just going to be able to provide a lot of front to back DPS. Considering it is Tyrael and Blaze, I do expect Creed of the Hunter. But Sergeant Hammer for Waterlong could be a little bit dangerous. Anubrak is there, but if you're able to deal with the Anubrak, everyone else really is not that hard. Waterlong definitely going to be able to outrange pretty much everything on CM Daybreak. The question is going to be if they have enough damage to really be able to break through here, and it's really going to depend on their positioning. It's going to depend on if Tarkin's going to be able to get ahead early, and it's really just going to depend on who's going to be able to execute better. That's all it is as we head into game number 3. All right, we are back for game number 3. I turned off chat on my phone. Let me bring that back up. But yeah, it's going to be game number 3, tied 1-1. They're also level 1-1. We can count this as a score for the first minute of the game between CM Daybreak and Macro Machines. Now, I'm really interested what this first talent is going to be coming out from Aura, because if this is Creed of the Hunter, it's definitely going to be a lot better at taking out that front line for Amaburb and Hoku. These are both going to end up being very tanky, and they don't really have blinds, so it could be very useful. But at the same time, the Hungering Arrow, the Puncturing Arrow, which is going to be the selection, it's going to be the Puncturing Arrow, is better if they're trying to just burst down Waterlong or Seralith. Just overall, it's going to be able to give them that extra bit of damage that they may need. Now, I don't think there's any right or wrong answer. I think it's entirely dependent on how they as a team want to play, how they stylistically prefer to play this match overall. And now both sides just going to be contesting for this middle area. And now Death Punisher going into the backline will land the Impale as well, but Tarkin now going to get hit by the drag, but Leap of Faith going to be there in time and will be okay overall. And now Tarkin as well, maybe a little bit far forward, but just going to push themselves back as Death Punisher almost able to get that burrow charge as well. So it does look like Amaburb is going to be playing the offlane. Hoku is going to be main tank on the Tyrael this time around, but it's going to be the role swap coming out for this game. Azora almost gets hit by that silence, and it is going to be overwhelming power, as now again Torkin is getting chased down, but Venus definitely going to be on the really losing end of that trade. Now the Health Orb is going to be there, and it's actually going to get picked up by Death Punisher. Will get poked a little bit on the way back, but not going to be able to get too much else. As once again, Waterlong going to be the first in the mid lane, and overall the first move priority is going to be coming through for Macro Machines, as MVP takes a decent chunk of damage. The drag just going to land on a minion, not going to be able to pull anyone else back. But so overwhelming power, I'll be honest, I don't even know too many of these. So Discord Strike, I believe that is the silence. It's an auto attack build. I didn't even know Olarak had one of those. That's a very interesting talent choice. Now I'm wondering how it builds up later, because I know nothing about Olarak, by the way. I know the generic strats for it. I don't know anything else coming out. But now in the top side, it is going to be the first move coming out for CM Daybreak, as Amaburb trying to soak up the mid lane. Waterlong and Seralith going to be able to take their bruiser camp. And Rakim and Aura going to get started on their own as well. Will take them a little bit longer, but I don't expect there to be a contest, so they should be able to just safely walk that in for themselves. Now, in terms of soak, however, right now, slight advantage going over to Macro Machines. Granted, a big part of that is going to be from that bruiser camp that Aura and Rakim's going to be able to finish up shortly. With MVP trying to clear things out along with Venus. But they could be in a dangerous spot, and Waterlong really getting a lot of siege value come out. But now the Unstoppable is going to prevent any kind of follow-up, in Venus really the low one on the back end of that, almost going to get taken down, and will. Torkin with the Lightning Surge has enough damage to bring it out, and it is going to be negatively charged. So this is going to really increase the amount of damage for a lightning surge. So that's in general just going to be super strong as Torkin. Gonna get pulled back, still trying to trade back and forth with these teams, with these players. But so far only 5 gems have been turned in as Hoku taking a lot of damage from Aura. Already had 11 stacks, by the way, so doing quite well on that at 3 minutes. And that's going to be a pretty strong puncturing arrow, but Waterlong already is set up here with the mines. Will get tanked up a little bit by Death Punisher, as a Bruiser Camp in the mid lane is going to get cleared away. But that was first blood. I also just realized that. I don't know how. I thought there was more fighting here. I don't know why. I just kind of expected someone to have already gone down. But 28 gems have been turned in on the side of Macro Machines, as we are starting to see a couple getting turned in. Death Punisher and Rackham going to be able to turn in 24 together. And it's going to be 33-24 now. Both sides do have enough total gems if they get the turn in. But now Torkin going to get jumped. The Impale as well. Drag as well. But I'm a Burb. Not going to be able to land the Jet Propulsion, but may not even be needed, as Venus is a little bit far up, but will be okay for now. Aura trying to come in and deal a little bit of poke damage as well, but neither side really going to be able to take control of it. As now Hoku still shoving out that top side, but mid lane prio has been gained mostly by CM Daybreak, and Hoku needs to try and get away, but is decently tanky. But the Impale is there as well, and Hoku needs to jump out, but it will immediately get caught by the zombie wall, and Hoku will end up going down. And that was a ton of gems. I think she had around 20. Now Seraph will be able to grab some of them back for the team, but that's still a huge loss overall. 1-2-1 the kill score, as the mines are going to walk into Venus, deal a little bit of damage back that way. And now I'm a Burb still on the bot side, has 8 more gems ready. 40-24 in terms of completely turned in, but there's definitely a lot more being threatened by the side of CM Daybreak, as now Death Punisher is starting to take a decent amount of poke. Aura trying to poke out, but MVP gonna be able to get the turn, and that's gonna be more than enough. Now I'm a Burb gonna get targeted up, but no one's really pushing in onto anyone else yet. Tarkin at 103 stacks for Sadism, it's decently okay. So you definitely want to hit that 130 mark as soon as possible, but right now still doing fine, getting that extra Discord strike talent as well. Just overall focusing on that. So I think the combo right now is to just auto and lightning surge over top and use the rest and use the Discord strike more as utility, as Death Punisher takes a little bit of poke on the way back. Gonna be getting that extra little bit of stack for negatively charged, and 5% per stack is actually pretty high now that I look at it. But these web weavers are starting to deal some damage in this top side. Waterlong is going to be able to help DPS them down. Obviously has that extra safety, just needs a little bit more, and they will be able to finish off this top lane one. Amber has already cleared out the bot lane. They did lose a little bit of the mid lane, but MVP, this is where the real push is happening right now. Still half HP on that web weaver. The top lane one now finally going to be going down, as Amber Burb is going to join up here, but the drag not going to be able to land. Amber Burb could have been in huge danger there, but it is still going to be the first fort of the game. That mid lane fort going down in favor of CM Daybreak as they get themselves that early lead. Now the Bruiser Camp is available here, and they are just going to immediately get started on that as well. With Charlotte and Waterlong and Torkin, all 3 of them hitting onto this, shouldn't take them too long, but they're still going to be first move in the top side overall, as MVP still trying to get more and more turned in. Hoku going to be able to get 7, so they only need 3 more for their own push. But let's not forget, this is a snowballing map as well, because once you're able to get the first pushes, once you're able to get control of this, it's so easy to prevent the other team from getting their own turn. And you really need to outplay the macro, you need to outplay a fight, and just have the numbers to be able to get those turn-ins, even if you are able to collect the gems. Now my Burb is going to be collecting the siege camp in the bot side. We'll get them a little bit of extra priority in this bottom lane. And now the fight over this top lane is going to start happening. But in the meanwhile, Burb in the bot lane going to be turning it. But Hoku is going to use the judgment, trying to get back out, but will still be going down. And now Seraph alone in the enemy team. Rain of Vengeance is there, and Seraph is just getting fully run down. Will get taken down. And now the drag lands as well, and they're just going in one by one. And now Torkin's going to be next. Has those sadism stacks, will be losing out on them. And it's going to be a 4-0 as the web weavers from Burb spawn. And I think you definitely take that. You are 100% happy with this trade on the side of CM Daybreak, because now you can freely defend this. You are just basically saying minus 50 gems from Macro Machines, and that's it. they're going to be able to clear out the mid lane almost immediately. Venus should not be struggling too much on the top side. I'm going to we'll get a little bit of priority in the bot side, but again, Aura and MVP, they're both here. They're already ready to clear this away. They'll get a little bit of damage done on the fort, sure. But the amount of experience you get from that 4 for nothing and removing those, granted it was just the 3% sadism stack, it is definitely worth it. But now they could be looking towards Venus. Is now Torkin going to be coming in, will be able to land the light bomb combo, and that's what I was hoping to see. It is going to be the deadly charge, a light bomb. If you're able to perfect that as a team, by the way, for anyone who's watching, you can basically engage whenever you want. I've seen Division 1 over in Heroes Lounge play this, and the amount of playmaking potential that combo has is insane. So if you've ever been thinking of what combo can I learn to outplay my opponents, that's one of the biggest ones you can. But now, in the meanwhile, I'm a Burb just going to be running out of the bot lane. MVP able to get a little bit, as now the judgment is going to be coming through. They have the silence, but do they have the damage? MVP still trying to get away. I'm a Burb is in the area, but not going to be coming in for that play. Death Punisher and Rackham and Aura all going to be able to get their returns here. And 14 more. It is going to be enough. They're going to be able to get another set of Web Weavers coming through. And now potentially another fight. The Impale not going to land onto anyone. But now Aura diving in. But Judgment is on cooldown. And so is the Blunt Force Gun. So there's a lot of tools just missing. And level 13 talents down. And the blue Web Weavers on their way. Coming in from CM Daybreak. So the Macro Machines just forced to push waves for a little while. Just forced to defend here. As now the Web Weaver is going to be spawning into this mid lane, already deeply pushed. So this is going to be a very good spawn for it. But they're going to be trying to clean up in this top side, just protect this top lane fort. That is where the boss is. So if there is one lane you want to keep alive, it is going to be this one. Now I'm a Burb going with the Jet Propulsion, going to be able to dodge away and everything else. Now Light Bomb does that onto 3, Target in the middle. The Deadly Charge combo is there. Now they're looking for more. Rackham starting it decently low. But again, they have the engage. They don't have the damage. And Hoku going to get hit by the drag. Is all alone. And the Cocoon. They're going to be able to land on a Deadly Burb as Hoku will be the one to go down. Venus could get targeted back, but instead, the damage reduction is going to be starting move across the entire team. And Torkin will be able to get the kill. I'm a Burb. With the Jet Propulsion going to be able to help out. Divine Star is going to be coming through as Aura. So very low on mana. Had enough for that vault, but is going to be completely out of it now. It is a 1-for-1. But look at the damage on this mid lane keep at this point. Bot lane's going to be taken down as well. We'll be able to get a decent amount of damage on this wall. And they still need to try and defend this top side from Aura, from Venus. Divine Star not going to be able to land, but Aura is still very low on mana and HP. As now MVP going to be trading against I'm a Burb. Jet Propulsion is going to land. As I'm a Burb just trying to stand in the fire. DPS higher, one of the few cases. As in the top side, they're able to get the kill. Torkin going to be able to get it, but Hoku might be getting traded back and will. But now Venus trying to back away from this trade. Not going to be followed up on, but 109 stacks of sadism now. So get that 9% bonus damage. It is a possibility, but they need to get I'm a Burb to one of these shrines as soon as possible. 46 shrines being held by this Blaze. But they don't have priority in the mid lane. They don't have priority in the bot lane. And that on its own makes it so much harder. And in the top side, that's where Death Punisher is shoving in. So there really is no shrine to walk through. But I'm a Burb going to try to go through the bot lane anyway. And MVP is on the siege camp. So they should be able to get this. And I believe this is enough for the Web Weavers to spawn the other way. They are down a talent here. So it is going to be a bit of a difficult push. But at the very least, this is going to let them catch up on talents. This is going to lower the pressure a lot coming in, at least for a short little while. Let them catch up to 16s, maybe even get a couple structures, probably no major ones, but it will give them something to play through with on the side of Macro Machines. Now this mid lane one, already the Bruiser camp is going to be there as well. I don't expect it'll survive too long. 1 second. Sorry, I heard oil burning. I had to go check, but Torkin now going to be in a bad spot. Needs to back away. Has the extra Discord Strike as MVP. Gonna just throw the isolation onto the backline. I'm a Burb still in the middle, but the drag is going to land, and that's onto the Sergeant Hammer, but Leap of Faith going to be coming in time from Sarilith. Just like that, they're going to be absolutely fine. So it is just going to be the 1-for-nothing. They're going to be able to take down the Vala. And during all of this, the Web Weavers, they're still pushing. This bot lane fort should be going down. As now they're looking for another play in the top side. Only the bunker remaining out of their heroics, and they're gonna pop it right now. Hoku just trying to get a little bit of bonus damage. Or sorry, I'm a burp. I'm so used to Hoku being in the off lane. But now Hoku now gonna be going in with the Tyrael. Divine Star gonna buy a little bit of extra HP. And they did manage to get a major structure. They managed to get themselves a teamfight victory as well. So that's gonna be pretty big for them. And now they even have the time to continue pushing out in this middle lane, get a little bit of extra structural damage. Azora still trying to collect those puncturing arrow stacks. And now the fight could potentially break out at any moment here, but neither side has enough for turn in. Only 2 gems needed for CM Daybreak, but that is going to be something they're going to have to watch out for later. Summer Verb and Saralith going to turn in 9 total. And now level 20, not up for either of these two teams, but because of the level disparage, I think it is possible they're going to go in, and they're looking onto Aura Light Bomb in the backline as well. With gun over top, but it's not going to be enough for the kill. As now instead it's going to be Hoku just getting burst down. And now they're also caught the cocoon onto Waterlong, needing to get away. And now Amaburb is going to get saved by the Leap of Faith. So it is just going to be the 1 kill so far, as Aura going to take a little bit of poke damage on the way out. But that was a fight chosen by Macro Machines that went the way of CM Daybreak. And now they're looking towards the boss. Now, I think with 4, they might be able to fight this, but they are lacking a lot of those heroics. They still have Deadly Charge, and they are going to have Light Bomb coming up in just 20 seconds. MVP still there. Aura and Rackham are still there. And the Web Weavers are going to be spawning at the same time. This is going to be a very, very big power spike coming in from CM Daybreak. They might even be able to get level 20 during this push if it lasts enough. But in theory, this could be a game-ending push if they're able to use this boss to its maximum effectiveness alongside these Web Weavers. They're going to get this top lane forward very easily. And now Waterlong is going to get hit by the Bro Charge. And I'm a Burb alone in the bunker, but they're just going to DPS through it. And I'm a Burb going to get hit by the Impale. And now Torkin is going to go in, but the Light Bomb isn't there, so Torkin is all alone. Leap of Faith is going to be there. No Judgment used by Hoku just defensively. And now the bunker gun is going to be there as well, but Torkin is going to go down. Hoku is going to get silenced as well. The isolation is there. And MVP looking for the drag, but the unstoppable is there for Waterlong. But now Saralith going to get hit by the cocoon. They're trying to save him, but now Saralith is alone and will have the Light Bomb in the front line and will be able to survive for a little bit, but the last tick of damage coming in from those toads. And now CM Daybreak, they're looking for the game. They're looking for more. Waterlong gonna be alone in the base. It is gonna be 2v5. The mid lane keep is gone as well. There's gonna be 2 Web Weavers. There's gonna be the Sand Golem. Or sorry, what are you called? It is Sand Golem. Okay, but Hoku gonna get targeted as well, but not even gonna go down. It doesn't matter because it is 2-1 for CM Daybreak. And another 3-game series for both of these two teams. And another 2-1 for CM Daybreak. Sorry. And another 1-2 for Macro Machines. Very close series. Some of these games had some really back and forth fights. And I gotta say, I'm loving what I'm seeing strategy-wise from Macro Machines. Because, I mean, right now they are definitely at that stage where you're seeing the pieces starting to come together. I don't think they're quite there yet, but we are still very early on in the season. I think give them a couple more weeks. If they're able to perfect these combos down, it's not often you see this Alarak Anduin combo, especially in North America. In Europe, it is quite common. But if you're able to perfect that, especially in Division C, you're gonna be a very strong team. But none of that is to take away from CM Daybreak, who definitely earned the win today. And now it is time to try and find someone for an interview. So give me one moment as I'm gonna be pinging the teams. Yeah, hopefully someone will be able to join soon. And someone's gonna be able to join immediately. So hello, Rackham. How are you doing today?
Howdy, howdy, howdy. Not too bad, not too bad. Feeling pretty good.
So you just got another 2-1, but it's still a victory. So how do you feel so far? Not undefeated, but unbeaten in the series.
You know what? You make the playoffs by not getting swept, and we're happy to get the win. But it's more important that we get at least 1 point. So I'm good. Aura pointed out right before I came in here that that's 2 weeks in a row that we have lost a close game 2 and then come back in game 3 and just put the pedal to the metal and gotten the job done. So I think we just got to go straight from game 1 to game 3 from now on. I think that's probably our strategy. We'll play games 1, 3, and 4. See if teams will let us do that.
I mean, it's all a mental thing, right? If that's what you think is going on, that's exactly what's going on. These are now best of 4s, but game number 2 does not count, so.
Exactly.
It's going to be nice and evened out.
That is what we're going with.
But so far, like I mentioned, you're 2-1 in weeks 1 and 2. But again, you've also won every single game. So it is still early on in the season. But what are your ambitions for this division this coming season?
Oh, well, after last season, I think first priority is to get as many points as we did last season. I think we might already be there. So you can cross that one off the checklist. I'd had to go back and look, but it was not good for a variety of reasons. So no, this team, most of us have been together for a while. Death Punisher's new in the mix, but we've played with him on other teams and just in pickup games for a while. So I was ecstatic to get him to join the team, and we're just gonna keep on keeping on. I mean, obviously you want to make the playoffs and make some noise, so that's priority number 1. That's all I'm thinking about right now.
All right, now again, it's also already after 2 games, so that's probably the last week I'll be asking this question. But looking further ahead into the season, are there any specific matchups that you're really looking forward to playing?
I think I'm going to have to put week 7 playing. I think that's Magnitude Earthquake. We play them. Stanky Slayer, I think he's the captain of that team this season, was on our team last season, and he chose to go separate way with our blessing because I'm happy. I mean, I was ecstatic he was able to find his own team, so that was really really cool for the league. But I think we're going to have to put the hammer down on him. So watch out, Magnitude Earthquake. We're coming for you.
Very good. Gotta get those threats out as early as possible. And that's going to be a matchup to look forward to for sure, because Magnitude Earthquake, they've been looking pretty decent too this season. I casted their games this week, so gotta say, it should be a pretty close and fun one.
Yep, you got to put these people on notice.
Now, for all 3 of those games, I mean, there's been some interesting drafts coming out of Macro Machines, and because they put out the Maiev, they put out the Stitches, and then they also pulled out that Alarak Anduin combo. So what are your thoughts playing overall on those different against those very different compositions?
Well, the number 1 thing, we didn't want to get clowned by a white main. A good white main is really hard to beat, so we had to get rid of that because they have someone over there that plays really good white main. And then I think did we go white main variant the first 2 picks or all 3 games?
All 3 games.
Yeah, it worked the first game. Then we decided, okay, we'll run it back, and they did some different things. That second game, the Chromie slows were hard to get out of, and the Maiev pulls were really really super annoying. And then at the end, I think she was putting people in a cylinder about every 4 seconds, so that was really annoying. And I don't think we dealt with that as well as we could have and should have. So that might be something we go back and look at. And then in the last game, I was afraid that the material charge with the light bomb on him was going to be a lot more impressive than it was, and they still they played it well. But I think we did a really good job of kind of countering it and not letting that charge just get in to our back line and destroy everyone. Our discipline was really good tonight. I like to call it in the first game with the garage. Punisher said at the beginning of the game, I'm going to hold my D until I get thrown. And he did a really good job. I'm not that patient when I play Johanna. I couldn't have done that. So tip of the hat to Punisher for keeping that D on lockdown.
Well, I mean, it definitely worked out well for you. I mean, you've, at the very least, you've gotten a lot of experience playing into very different drafts, and most importantly, you're able to get that experience while also getting the wins. And I think that's definitely your favorite part.
Yeah, I think the other thing that I've been on teams that I've captained in the past, and we spend so much brain power trying to theory craft what the other team's going to do and trying to figure out how to counter them. And we've kind of gotten past that. We still want to take things that make sense, but this season and a couple of previous seasons, we've been more about just picking the things that we do well. If it happens to counter them, that's a bonus. But instead of worrying about their draft and reacting to it. We know the things that we do really well. We're going to pick those. We're going to let the other team react to it. And I think we did a pretty good job of staying within ourselves today. So good job, team.
Yeah, always very good to be able to keep your own rhythm and make the other teams try to adapt to it instead. So definitely, I genuinely think that's a really good strat. But with that being said, it is about time for us to call this an evening. But do you have any final thoughts, any shout outs you'd like to give?
Oh, I'm going to shout out Macro Machines. That was a heck of a game, and the way they flipped Game 2 on its head, I thought we had that one, and then all of a sudden we did not have that one. So they played really well. I think they're going to make some noise this season. And shout out to you for casting this, of course, and shout out to all the Twitch viewers at home. I don't think anyone can walk away from this and say I was not entertained whatsoever. I think it had something for everyone. So thanks for tuning in, everyone.
Yeah, I mean, definitely could not have said it better myself. Thank you very much for this interview, and congratulations once again on your victory tonight.
All right, thanks. Have a good night.
You too. And now with that, it is once again the saddest time of the day, where we are going to have to close out this stream, but don't be sad, it's over. Be happy, because we're going to have another stream tomorrow, and we are going to be going over to the Nexus Division, 6:30 Pacific, 9:30 Eastern. It's going to be Magnitude Tsunami versus Came From Behind, so be sure to check that out as well. And Moist Venus, thank you for another 69 bits. Definitely one of my favorite numbers as well. Nice. But yeah, thanks all for watching. I'll be live again tomorrow. Thanks, Factor75. Click the link, and we'll be back live tomorrow. You all have yourselves a great night, and I believe I'll be rating Eternally Blue, who should have just started. We'll see. And thank you, MVP32, for the follow as well. Managed to catch that right before the transition, but good night, everyone.